Hi guys, my name is Annabelle. I'm the general manager of EIV and I'm here today to take you through this digital EIV pitch workshop. I know everything is a little bit crazy, but pitches are in fact happening. It's all over Zoom appointments, which we will get into in this workshop. So let's jump right into it. So this slide is a little bit of a timeline for you guys. This is super important to know. These are the most important dates in our pitching process. So these mandatory pitch workshops, that's what you are watching right now, asynchronous, video online. But just to emphasize, this is something all of your EPs will do, whether it's just you attached to the project or if you have multiple friends. Every single person has to go through this just to pitch for EIV. This is super important. We are using an honor system since we are all online, but there will be a quiz at the end of this slide. So make sure to stay tuned for that, and it will reflect in your pitch packet that you will be turning in, which is actually due April 19th. That will be due at 11:59 p.m. East Coast time, so adjust to wherever your time zone is necessary. That is about a month time from when this video is being made, so make sure to get a head start on that. The next day after you turn that in, we will be releasing the sign-up sheet. That is to get your time slot in order to actually pitch your project. So whatever your production is, you will sit in front of the board on Zoom, and we will do a pitch with you guys, and you'll have 13 minutes for that pitch, and then a Q&A will follow that, but it will be 20 minutes in total out of your day, which is super easy, and it's honestly a really fun process. And those pitches will be happening April 23rd through 26th. That is a Thursday through Sunday, so you will have multiple day options, whether it's weekend or weekday, and there will be a variety of times, so please just pick whatever you need, whatever works best for you guys, and if there is only one day and one time that works for you guys, let us know ahead of time. As for our productions, we do basically everything. We do have TV narrative, reality, we have studio specials, we have music videos, documentaries, we have podcasts, we have animations. We even this semester had a VR experience kind of thing, which is really cool. They have these Google VR goggles, and we basically take all classifications. If you don't see your idea on this list, feel free to contact us and we can tell you which section of the pitch packet to follow. And a lot of that pitch packet does seem daunting. It is a very long packet. However, once you find your section under your classification, it just turns out to be 1 or 2 pages. So don't be intimidated by that at all. Just find whichever production classification you would fall under and we can help guide you towards that. There are a bunch of different things that you will need in your pitch packet, some of which are a logline, genre, context, runtime, tone, your theme, and your intended audience. Now we will go into these in a little more depth, so you can follow with me to the next slide. We will be starting with a logline. So if you don't know what a logline is, which we go to Emerson, I'm sure you know what a logline is, but I'm about to explain it again. It is your 1-sentence explanation. It's the bare essence of your production. So what is the core? What is the simplest explanation you can give of the entire thing with no spoilers? Versus a synopsis, that is 1 paragraph that hits the main beats, the main idea. So it's more of the plot and concept, again, not too many spoilers. Then you have your breakdown, which is 1 paragraph per section. If you are doing a short film, you can do it act by act. If you're doing a webisode, you could do it episode by episode. It's really up to you how you want to structure that, depending your production, but it's all about structure and kind of explaining what happens in a cause and effect type scenario. So what causes this to happen in the next episode? As for a little bit more about your logline, we do have a few tips for you guys. So use your active voice, try to keep it in that tense. Also, we want to know a few things. We want to introduce your character. Do they have a specific goal? What are their stakes? Is there an antagonist that is involved? Also, what are the topics that are going to be covered in this? So again, it is that really, really short 1-sentence summary. One example that I like to give is Monsters, Inc. I think it's a really cute logline. It's something that everyone knows, so again, you can search this up on IMDb, but it is. In order to power the city, monsters have to scare children so that they scream. However, children are toxic to monsters, and after a child gets through, 2 monsters realize things that may not be what they think. Now, again, you do have that action of trying to scare the children, but they're toxic to monsters. You get that kind of context of the situation. You have your two monsters, which end up being the main characters, Mike and Sully. You have what you think is the antagonist, which is the children, because they're all toxic and everything. And you have the specific goals, is them trying to get energy by scaring the children and getting those screams. So however you want to structure it, you can submit that in the form as well. And if you want some advice on that, you can email us. Our programming department and our news director would be happy to help you guys with whatever logline situation you would like. Our context of everything is super important, so we really do emphasize this in the pitch packet. This basically helps us figure out the tone of your production and the narrative trajectory, what inspired you to make it. You can compare it to other things. So one way we like to do this is blank meets blank. So say you have a monster movie, but it's all filmed as a POV. You could do iCarly meets Scooby-Doo. So you have that video teenage vlogging type style, but they're all monster hunting. So if it is kind of obscure and weird like that, you can write a little sentence afterwards just kind of explaining how blank meets blank. One way we like to do it is the aesthetic of it meets the narrative of it. So it looks like a Black Mirror type film, but it's actually this type of narration. So however you want to make that happen, you can go ahead and do that. As for our runtime, we do have a formula that really helps us out. It's our episode number by our episode length. So say you have 3 episodes that are each 5 minutes in length, you would do 3 times 5. And that just kind of helps us get a little bit of a understanding of how much you're trying to shoot. If you are doing a narrative, they shouldn't be longer than 30 minutes in total per semester. One way you could break this up is by doing 3 10-minute episodes, but say you have an hour's worth of content, you can do 3 10-minute episodes this semester, come back the following as a reoccurring show, and do your final 3 episodes then. So however you want to break that up, you can totally feel free to do that. If you are a short film, the episode number would just be 1 because you're just making 1 product in total, and then the episode length would just be however long you're trying to make your short film. So our theme, purpose, and message, we really want to understand why you are making this project. We do get a lot of pitches, so you want to kind of relate to us on that level. Make sure you stand out. We really want to know what inspired you and why you really, really want to make this. The more passionate you are about this project, the more we are going to have trust in you and want you to make it and help you succeed as well. So this is kind of what speaks to people at a deeper level. If it has a hidden message behind it, then you can specify in those areas as well. We do have other elements of the pitch packet. We're going to dive into some more specifically, but others are kind of just going to be mentioned quickly. But follow along, we do have our character breakdown. So this is about your characters. However, in your pitch packet, we would love to hear all about your characters, who they can relate to. You can make kind of a mood board, and say you have an animation, you can draw and sketch out the characters, but we just want to hear about your characters, what they act like, if you have a certain look they have to have, if they're the antagonist, maybe give them some backstory. We really just want to see you break down those characters. In the pitch itself, you don't have to dive as deep into those characters. We will have read your pitch packet ahead of time, so that would be a really good chance to talk about the logistics a little bit more and have your pitch packet be more of the creative side. As for visuals and sound, like I said, you can make a mood board. This is really good. People use Pinterest. They just paste documents in a Google Doc. However you want to achieve that, that helps us visualize it in our head while you're going through your entire pitch. And sound also, people have come in with Spotify playlists, they've come in with proofs of concept, which is lower down on the list, but these proofs of concept, you can film something and show it to us. There will be a screen sharing ability. So however you want to kind of give off that visual and sound, feel free to do that as well. Scripts are not mandatory, they are recommended highly, however, because we do like to have kind of that sense of security knowing you've already started writing. Now, this does not have to be a finalized script like you're going out tomorrow. However, if you have an outline or if you have a rough draft, those are great to submit as well. Just submit whatever you have. And if you don't have a script, say you have a reality show, kind of just write down an example of what you think a conversation would happen, or an example of what a host might say. So kind of give us those options as well. Again, this is not mandatory, but it is highly, highly suggested. If you are shooting in studio, we do like to see a studio plot. You can draw this out just on a piece of paper. You can make it in Photoshop, however you want to do that. But we do want to see where you intend on placing the camera, where the host would sit, and where the correspondents would sit, or however that applies to your studio show. Also, if you have any props or background decorations, whatever you want to do, you can put those in as well. Locations are super, super important. Make sure to start looking for those ahead of time. Again, they do not need to be locked down, but say you know your story shoots at a school. You can say, oh, we're gonna be looking into Peabody Elementary. We're gonna be looking into Emerson, LA. We're gonna look at Suffolk. Whatever you want to put, just have those ideas, because again, that shows us that you did the research and shows us that you are passionate about making this. Production schedule, again, also does not need to be finalized. However, we do like to know, because this will be for the fall, our hiring weekend, and all of those events will be in September. You can then say you're going to have your first crew meeting the first week of October, and then you can say that the last week of October, the first week of November are going to be your 2 shooting weekends. So just kind of a rough idea of how many days you need. That's super important, how many days you are looking to shoot, and kind of having that schedule around that. We'll go into distribution a little further in the PowerPoint, but we do want to know how you plan on distributing this production, whether it's through film festivals or just on EIV's website. But we really want this to be made and have people watch it and have people see it. So we do want to look into those distribution plans with you as well. We will go into the budget breakdown a little bit and our fundraising plan, because that is a little bit trickier side. You will have to fill out a budget breakdown, which we will go into in the next slides. We also want to know what each producer will be doing. We'll go into this as well a little bit more. Your crew positions, we want to know what you plan on hiring, how many people, how many extras you need. This works with cast as well, but also we don't allow you to pre-hire your crew unless it is your key crew, so your director, your DP. But don't hire a PA, don't hire a sound guy. If it's a key grip, that's fine, but make sure it is that key crew, just so we give everyone the same opportunities that you can get at Emerson. If you are a returning show, hi, good to see you again. But that just means that we want to know what you would change, how your story evolves, or what you would like to improve upon as EPs. Maybe something didn't go as well on your first shoot weekend. What can you do to make that step better this time around? It's also really good to attach your resumes. This is something that we look for. Even if you don't have producing experience, we look through that leadership experience. We look at everyone's resumes, we look at everyone's pitch packets, so attach those as well. So as for your budget, I am going to pass this over to our business manager, Sean. He is super willing to help you guys if you have any questions as well, so feel free to reach out to him, but he is going to explain the next 2 slides.
Okay, hi, I am Sean Cudahy. I'm the outgoing business manager. I'm just going to go over what you need to do for your budgets for your pitch packets. So for your pitch packet, you need to do a tiered budget breakdown. So there's 3 different tiers that you'll need to do. So you're going to end up be doing 3 different budgets. So your tier 1 budget is going to be your bare minimum. So it's basically the bare minimum amount of money that you need to make this project from EIV. The tier 2 is more kind of like, it allows you a little bit more wiggle room. Say you want to shoot on a location that maybe costs money to rent, rather than trying to transform the 2B alleyway again, like everyone likes to do in their projects. That's kind of like where your tier 2 money would be going towards, maybe a little bit higher on location, maybe a little bit better crafty. That's basically what the tier 2 is. It's kind of more like what the ideal amount of money would be. Tier 3 is more just for you to kind of like have a lot of fun. So it's kind of there so you can do your dream project. So say you think you need to film in rural Arizona or something, for your project. That's where you would put that, the cost of that trip. That would be in your tier 3 budget. So you're just going as crazy as you want to go. There's a few important elements of your budget breakdown. You need to have a top sheet, which is, just kind of like the general overview of what it's going to be. And then the line items are a little bit more detailed. So you want to give like little descriptions, kind of explain why you need that. Really utilize the notes section if you, for some reason, think that it's something that's a little different than what would typically be in a budget. So say you want to rent an ambulance or something, like you might want to use the notes section to explain why you want to spend all that money to rent an ambulance. Luckily for you, you don't need to create the actual spreadsheet to do your budget. We have a template for you to fill out. So you just scan that QR code that's on the screen and it should take you to it. You just copy the Google Sheet, so you create a copy of it and then you fill it out with your own production details. The sheet does all the math for you. It's incredible. It was created by the last business manager. And if you have any questions about it, it can be a little confusing. If you've never done it before, you can definitely email me and I will help you out. I've done them twice now, and the first time I did it, I was a little confused, and it was nice to be able to talk to someone to help me walk through it. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you just need a little bit of guidance on budgeting. I know it can seem a little overwhelming at first, but it's actually quite easy and kind of fun. So that's that for budgeting.
Awesome. So as for distribution options, there are a bunch of different varieties and ways you can go with this. You can release it on the EIV website. We do like to have all of our productions up on there. It is eivproductions.com. So that is a really great opportunity to just kind of have a Netflix style layout where you can scroll through and just see what everyone's shows on there are. It's also a really good way to get views on that YouTube video, which brings me to EIV's YouTube. You can feel free to create your own. We also have a YouTube that you can upload it to, which is a really great opportunity as well, just so everything gets saved all at once. We have Vimeo, of course, that you can upload to. That's highly suggested if you're going into film festivals. We can also upload it to our social media pages. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, all of them. So you can upload it to those as well, and we can give you views on there. Festivals, we get a bunch of different submission codes so that you get discounted submissions. Feel free to submit to any of those film festivals, but definitely do your research on those so that we know what type of festivals you're looking into, whether it's the Asian American Film Festival or Sundance or Emerson's Film Festival. Whatever you want to do, just feel free to go through those variety of options. Emerson Channel is also a really great resource for you guys to use. They will air it on their TVs. They have a time slot, so feel free to put it up on Emerson Channel as well. Just make sure to read their rules and guidelines ahead of time before you submit. As for your producer responsibility breakdowns, we do have a few examples for you to follow. These are not mandatory to follow these exact diagrams, but we do like to kind of see who's going to be responsible for what, so which producers will be doing what jobs. Our typical producer layout is a logistics EP, a tech EP, and a creative EP. Now, say you have 2 producers, say you have 5 producers, it does not matter how many producers you have, but we do request that you kind of figure out where you would fall under. And so Sally Ann Perks, for example, she is logistics, so she will be in charge of crafty, transportation, locations, hiring, distribution, and scheduling. That way we know if we need to sign a permit, which producer out of the 3 we would send it to. We look at who's looking at locations, and we would send it to Sally. If you are doing in studio, one really great way to do it is kind of a studio EP and a control room EP. So the studio EP, Daphne would be in charge of coordinating the APs and hiring the writers and talent. As for the control room, AP would be in charge of coordinating the segment team and hiring crew. So however you want to lay it out, just make sure to list those responsibilities and try to have them be more on the even side so that there's not one person doing an extreme amount of work while the other 2 are just hiring cast. We want to make sure no one gets burned out and that everything is balanced between you guys. As for some tips and tricks for you guys, because I have been through a lot of different pitches, I have seen a huge variety of them. So definitely be creative. Like I said, there are a lot of people pitching. You want to make sure you stand out and kind of are that memorable one. If you are that memorable one, we will be more likely to pick your show up. So definitely be that one that's the shining star. However you want to grab that attention, make sure you do that. As for detail, the more detail, the better. We really want to make sure that you've done the research, that you know you can make this. If you're confident, we're going to be confident. And the way to back that up is through these detailed facts and research that you have done. Like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't produced before, that is totally okay. We will look at your resume for some other experience, whether it's leadership experience, if you have done any sort of experience on crews, that's fine as well too. But we will be asking you about that during our Q&A session. Again, just make sure you do that research. I've said this 1,000 times, research, research, research. Reoccurring studio shows should not budget for crafty. This is the only thing, because if we're shooting at the studio on campus, there's the Lion's Den, there's the Max, you could go anywhere for food. So just don't budget for crafty. We're gonna not give you that crafty budget. So just don't budget for it. But field shows, if you're in Cambridge, of course, budget for crafty. We want to feed your crew, make sure they get fed. Happy crew is made by feeding them. Proof of concepts are great. Again, if you come up with a gimmick, I know that is super hard to do over Zoom, but I'm very much trusting you guys to come up with that creativity. You could wear costumes over Zoom, you could bring props, you could bring jokes. We've had people play guitar to kind of prove that sound idea. So however you want to have that proof of concept is really great. If you want to film something, if you're able to film something, that would be great as well, just as a little teaser. One really important new thing that we have is a recommendation section. So even if you haven't been an EP with EIV before, this is a really great chance to get those recommendations from past EPs. Even if you were a grip on someone's shoot, reach out to one of those EPs. I know the EIV community is more than happy to help you guys and recommend you to the management board. Or if you went through the development program, it's a really great chance to kind of get them to recommend you because they've seen you the entire semester. So that's a really great chance for them to explain to us how you've been and kind of give that recommendation. Again, those are totally optional. You do not have to do it. It's just highly recommended. So as for a little checklist, you have already done step 1, which is watching an online pitch workshop. That is what you are watching right now. So congratulations. I would like to emphasize again that all of your EPs have to do this. They will not be allowed to pitch with you if they did not do this. So please, 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 honor system, watch these videos, all of you. After you've watched this, you will submit the form that we have online. You will find that at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that as well. You'll send in your pitch packet. You'll be sending that to this email, secretary@eivtv.org. You can attach your pitch packet if you have a script, your resumes, everything will go to that email, whether you're programming or a news show. That will be a great way for them to separate that as necessary and what we think plausible. Then the following day after it's due, so April 20th, you will be sent a link to sign up for your pitch time slot. Again, be ready 10 minutes early. If we do finish the pitch before you early, we could jump right into yours and give you a little extra time. So it's really great to get there early. We're also going to be patient and a lot for technical difficulties. So again, it is our first time doing Zoom pitches because of the whole situation. So please bear with us in that sense. And then you will have 20 minutes for your pitch. Those will be yours to control. You'll have 13 minutes in order to pitch your idea, and the rest of the time will be allotted to a Q&A. The management board that is present will ask you guys questions. You will answer, and you can ask us questions as well if you need help with logistics or anything. And that's how your pitch will work to us. These are just some important contacts that you should know. We have our programming director, which is Francis. He is there to support any narrative shoots or any animation podcasts, anything that's not news-based. If it is news-based, a documentary, a news show, a special news, that will be to Mackenzie. She is our news director. You can find her email there. Our secretary, Mallory, is super great. She is the one you are submitting all of your pitch packets to. She will sort and organize everything, so make sure you send that to which date? April 19th by midnight. So Definitely just keep that email in mind, especially if you are not ready to pitch this semester and you feel like next semester would be a great option. Our development team is really willing to help you guys. This email is right here as well, and they will get your pitch and pitch packet to be at the standard we are looking for our shows. If you are looking for our pitch packet, that is available on the EIV Facebook page, as well as our website, eivproductions.com, and it's also on MConnect. So whatever means you find possible for those, you can search any of those and our pitch packet will be on there. So this is the QR code to find our form that proves that you took this quiz. You can scan it with your camera app. You can also download a QR reader or Snapchat. If you have Snapchat, that's a super easy way to kind of scan it and takes you to the form. If you cannot reach this QR code, just email secretary asking for the form and they will help you out instantly. So again, if you have any questions, you can email me. My email is gm@eivtv.org, or you can email our secretary, Mallory. Her email is secretary@eivtv.org. Whatever you want to feel comfortable doing, you can reach out to either of us at those emails. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this online pitch workshop. Thank you for understanding that we have to do everything asynchronous videos. We really appreciate it, and we can't wait to see you on Zoom. Bye!